Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the court of the Edijester, everybody. How are we doing? Yes. Nice one here today from Bev Jackson of LGB Alliance. Before we begin, please do come and be a warrior teacher. We're starting in February. Oh, yes. Oh, on a Monday. It'll be Mondays. We've got a morning session, we've got an evening session. Go have a look. Other than that, please subscribe. Click for updates, buy me a coffee. Anything you can do to help will be also gratefully received. Now, so let's get down to the meat and potatoes, if you excuse the connotations, from the article here provided by Bev, which appeared in The Critic on the 18th of January. Now, some of you may know, some of you may not, I doubt it, but some of you may not, that Bev Jackson was one of the individuals who set up the LGB Alliance when the obvious dangers of trans and gender queer nonsense and the LGBTQ began trampling over everything. The LGB Alliance, that's what they set up, LGB Alliance, which is set up specifically and exclusively for lesbian, gay and bisexual people. I've been to their conference, it was great. It was great. We danced. And we saw lots of people speak, and it was fascinating to listen to them. Some great stories, some amazing tales, some really disturbing because of what happened to people. But what we've got here is a reiteration of something that was very much on the radar going back a few years ago. Some of you may remember the notion of the continent ceiling, which is where they were teaching these men who were pretending to be women how they could successfully seduce lesbians. Yes. Right? That's rape culture right there, isn't it? I think so anyway. And it was called the cotton ceiling. And it was essentially these men who were pretending to be women then pretended to be lesbians, and they thought that would give them access to these women sexually. So it was called the cotton ceiling. And what Bev's written here is called Cotton Ceiling 2.0. Straight men should not be trying to seduce lesbians. The resurgence of cotton ceiling rhetoric among, of all people, members of the BACP. Right, that's the professional body representing counsellors and psychotherapists in the UK. Get your head around that. It's like a rotting corpse rising to the surface of your local lake. It's got way with words, are Beth, right? It says here, you remember the cotton ceiling, right? Now, in 2012, a trans-identified man named Morgan Page, a bloke, ran a workshop at Planned Parenthood Toronto entitled Overcoming the Cotton Ceiling. Breaking down sexual barriers for queer trans women. The aim was to teach transbians, these fucking men, transbians techniques to pass through the cotton ceiling, a cute term for women's underpants. In other words, it taught straight men who identify as women how to get lesbians into bed. And now we've got the BACP, which is the psychotherapy body, are doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing. Rape culture is all in the past, right? Well, no. Apparently, many people don't understand what is disturbing about encouraging straight men, oh no, they're women, no they aren't, to seduce lesbians. But this is what this is doing. This is what this is doing. In 2022, the cotton ceiling workshop came up during the Alison Bailey case. You remember the gargantuan fight by Alison Bailey there. She took on her Chambers and Stonewall. She sued them for discrimination and harassment. Now, for me, the weirdest sentence of that trial came from the witness, Catherine McGahey QC, a former vice chair of the Bath Council's Ethics Committee. When asked her views on the cotton ceiling phenomenon about helping men find ways to get into lesbians' knickers, McGahey cast about for an analogy. In a light bulb moment, she compared the cotton ceiling workshop to South Africa attempting to racially integrate society. I kid you not, says Bev here. This is what happens, isn't it? People get deranged. That's a QC that said that, which was Queen's Counsel, was King's Counsel now, but that was a QC. It just shows you how this deranges people. I mean, that should have been enough to get her struck off, in my book, because she's obviously mentally unfit. Now, I've never seen contempt for lesbian sexuality displayed quite so blatantly. Maybe McGahey had heard Nancy Kelly, then Stonewall CEO, describe us as sexual racist and stowed it away for future use. But what's the meat and potatoes of this? Back to that term again. But here we go. This is about a new initiative, which is what Bev is explaining. Fast forward to 2025 and to an initiative called VODA, Self-Care for LGBTIA plus lives. Does that be QIA perhaps there? It's won awards from UK Startup Awards and Attitude magazine. Voda is promoting an app called Exploring Lesbian Culture for Trans Femme. Remember, trans femmes are male. The app focuses entirely on the validation of the trans femmes without any acknowledgement that other people, women, may be involved. A few choice quotes from this lovely app. Through self-awareness and acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT exercises, you will explore your feelings, identify values, and develop strategies to integrate into the community while honouring your identity. To integrate into the community. That's men trying to integrate into the community of lesbians, as if there's a community of lesbians. There isn't. There's the odd gaggle. Does that count? They're a constituency, not a community. It's absolute bloody nonsense. I've seen them go at each other with hammer and tongs, or in some cases, pool table cues. Pool cues. That was bloody. It's a long time ago, that was. God. Whilst your journey may differ from that of a cisgender lesbian, remember that your trans identity is beautiful and deserves respect. This is backed by the BACP, the psychology people. This is what they're telling these men. You might feel excited, anxious, or curious about this new experience. Horny is what they feel, dear. Horny, isn't it? Yep. What aspects of lesbian culture intrigue or concern you the most? They're creepily fetishizing lesbianism to enhance their gender euphoria, or as I call it, boner. Remember, this journey is more about than just finding acceptance. It's about claiming your space and asserting your right to be part of communities that uplift and empower you. In other words, this is not about you being a bloke who's just a fetishist. This is about you asserting your right to be part of communities that uplift and empower you. In this case, the lesbian constituency. So it's like, go on then, you gusset fumbler, get in the lesbian. That's what they're saying. This is essentially, says Bev, an invasion manual. It shamelessly encourages men who self-define as lesbians to claim their space in the lesbian community. I mean, it's just insane, isn't it? And this is the governing body. How can this be? How can it be? 4 of the 6 strong voter team are also BACP members. Their involvement in this app is unclear, but they have certainly not distanced themselves from it. The app seems to be a profound breach of the BACP's ethical framework from 2018. Besides breaching prescribed values such as respecting human rights and dignity, the lesbians' rights and dignity are ignored, and personal qualities such as showing appropriate esteem for people and their understanding of themselves. It breaches guidelines listed under respect. And what we have here then is those breached guidelines, which I suggest you go and have a look at for yourself. Bev's taken time to write this in the Critic. I'll hope you take time to go and have a look, because it is available to you. Go and see. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. We're going to need legislation to end this, but on a lighter note, Trump's going to do something. It's going to start things moving, but this is absolutely disgraceful on every level. And I'm sure that you'll agree with me. Okay, go have a read. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.